Hello again, friends and Lil Wolfpack members. Chaos Wolf here, and welcome back to Into the Black, the series where we go and fly around in the void and just talk about random stuff, really. At the moment, we are currently 6 jumps away from our next, basically our next waypoint. And until now, we've not really been finding anything all that interesting. And you can tell it's been a while since I've been out exploring now, because I've lost the habit of scanning the main star while I'm checking what's in the system. Although, here we could probably tell that it's not that much of an interesting thing. Then again, we've got 2 planets here with atmospheres that may potentially be terraformable. I mean, this is a K-class, so that does stand a good chance of these potentially being terraformable. So what we'll go and do is, after we scan this one, we'll go and... here we go. There we go. We'll go and have a look at the next star. And I'm pretty sure we'll be able to start scanning this right from the get-go. Yep, there we go. So we'll get a little closer and we'll go and have a look at those 2 planets as well. So it is distinctly possible that they may be terraformable. If they are, that's going to be great. But one of the things I didn't check is whether these have been discovered before. Yes, they have. Yep, they've all been discovered. And look at this, DK Senpai. Yeah, okay. So yeah, like I said, we're kind of coming across a lot of systems that have been previously discovered, because it's not like we're off the beaten path. But then again, a wise man once said, sometimes a road less travelled is less travelled for a reason. But I don't think that really applies in this particular case, because we really are just looking for other just systems that people haven't been to yet, so we can try and get Commander Mal Reynolds' name on a few things. But it's not necessary by any stretch of the imagination, because for those of you maybe who haven't seen this series before, this particular commander is Commander Mal Reynolds. There we go, you can see it up at the top just underneath the status tab, and you can see that we are completely 100% aimless because we have not sold any exploration data at all so far. Quite literally, we trade up to get just enough money for this ship. I don't even think we can afford the rebuy. No, technically we can't, but if we get blown up, we're going to have a loan that we can go and take. But let's not go and smash into the planet, that would not be fun. Although we wouldn't smash into the planet, we'd just stop very abruptly, which would give us the world's worst case of whiplash, I do suspect. And we just hang around in either the exclusion zone, just hit that and just stop there. Probably just lose a couple of % on our hull as well. Speaking of which, have we... yeah, we've lost a little bit of integrity on some of these modules, probably because we overheated a little bit. But we're going to have to be careful, because I don't think... no, we don't have an auto field maintenance unit, so we have to be very careful now. So, high metal content world. I gathered it would be, but is it going to be terraformable is the question. No, it isn't. Next one, we're going to have a look at this one quick. We're not far away. So we'll go and see if this is terraformable. This I doubt. Because these high metal content worlds, the ones that are potentially terraformable, I'm kind of iffy on whether or not I want to waste, not exactly waste, but spend the effort going to check whether they are or not. If they're close to the main star, then yeah, fine. A couple of thousand light seconds, that's nothing. But anything more than that, and I'm not really willing to waste the effort, well, spend the effort. For the simple fact that if they're not terraformable, they're only going to be a couple of thousand credits, I believe. But if they are terraformable, they're going to be like 40 to 50,000 credits, maybe 30,000 credits, I can't remember. I'll have to go and check again. It's been a while, like I said, since the last time I was out properly exploring. Even though we've had Commander Mal Reynolds out here for a while, it's been a while since I went and did the last episode of this. And honestly, we've not been making as much progress as I'd like to have been making. Just because, obviously, there's been a lot of stuff with the beta videos and everything coming out. So, I've been very busy. Let's see. Is this one terraformable? Nope, it isn't. And they're not exactly the biggest of Earth masses either. Gravity is just over half a G. On this one, what have we got? Oh, nope, nope. There we go, 0.66 Gs. Yeah, alright, okay. So that's not terrible. But they're just not the kind of things we would have really liked them to be. So what the plan is right now is get out, go and visit a couple of nebulae. At the very least, go to the Lagoon Nebula. Just go and have a look there again, because it's been a while since I was out in that direction. I wouldn't mind going and heading out to Jack's, but because I don't have an auto field maintenance unit, I don't want to go and do that, really. Because going out that way, it's a long way. It's about 22,000 light years. It's a little bit more than what we're willing to go and do right now. I mean, this round trip might be around about 22,500 light years. Maybe a bit more, maybe a bit less. Not really sure. But yeah, let's not go and... What's it? Let's go and... Here we go. So whilst we're scanning that, we'll also scan the rest of the system, send out a ping. 13 objects, and they're all pretty much just rubbish. I mean, we have one landable moon, that's about it. But we do seem to be in at least an area of space where there doesn't seem to be anything of that much interest. But, oh well. I got very excited yesterday, actually, after the day before recording this. Because I finally managed to get myself back a Python on my main account. Now, it's been a while since I've had a Python, because I originally had a really nicely modified combat Python. But then I ended up having to sell the ship, stored a bunch of the modules from the ship, and sold the rest of it. So I could afford to get a combat Anaconda. Because I had my Explorer Conda, but I decided that I wanted to go and upgrade and have a combat Anaconda, because I'd never had one before. You know what, I think we're a bit too close. Let's get out of here. And we don't seem to have any heat sinks either. So yeah, a lot of things were missing in the ship. A lot of luxuries I'd like to have. But either way, we're going to go and scan the main star. Because this is one of the things that makes you a bit of money out exploring, is just scanning the main stars. More than likely they'll have been discovered previously, just like these ones. Discovered by Hugo Ross. But this looks interesting. Looks like a potential water world. So we're definitely going to go and have a look at that. Now, I don't suspect it's going to be terraformable, but it's worth a try. But it looks like a water world. It's either a water world or a high metal content, but I'm guessing more along the lines of a water world with potentially an ammonia atmosphere or a carbon dioxide atmosphere, which is why it's brown. So, yeah, no, the weird thing is a lot of these planets that look brown could potentially be water worlds. But it might just be that the water shows up as brown rather than red, and it's not because it's muddy. It's just because the atmosphere and what is in there. So the chemicals in the atmosphere, like the chemical composition of the atmosphere, may just end up dissolving into the water and making it appear brown. At least that's what I think it is. I could very well be wrong. But yeah, anyway, as I was saying, decided to upgrade to a Combat Anaconda, and then not that long ago I actually sold my Combat Anaconda in order to be able to afford a Combat Corvette. And I've been loving it. I've been loving having the JCS Ragnarok. JNS is Jonai Naval Ship. JCS is Jonai Command Ship. I'm the only one that's allowed to use that, being the leader of the wolves and all that. But yeah, I got that one and I've been really enjoying it. Let's have a look. It was a high metal content. It's not terraformable, but at the very least we'll have our name on it potentially. But oh well, it's got an atmosphere. So that's nice.
Frameshift drive charging.
But then what happened is I went over and did a little bit of Seos and Sothis runs. Got myself, I think it was a little over 30 million from one run. And that's gone very nicely towards being able to get a Python. So that's great. And I went and managed to... Cause I'd stored a lot of the materials from the Python. Like I'd stored the... What was it? The prismatic shield generator I had previously. I stored a lot of the modules on it. The only one that I didn't keep, was the power plant, because I ended up selling that one to be able to afford something else. Then I'd sold all the weapons as well, but now I've bought new weapons all in a 15% discount system. So that's really nice. There we go. And again, I'm forgetting that I want to go and scan the main star. I keep doing this now. So yeah, there we go. Main star scanning. Anything? Oh, okay, that's definitely a water world. And potentially an ammonia world. But more likely a high metal content. These would look alright. I think we're going to go and scan this one first. If it ends up being terraformable, we'll scan that one and see what happens. Because it may end up being that they're both in the Goldilocks zone. If it's not terraformable, I'm not going to bother. Because I've got a way of doing things where I like to go and scan one. If it's terraformable, I'll scan ones either side. If one of those is terraformable, or both are terraformable, I'll scan the next ones in the same directions. So, if I find a terraformable, I'll scan one more, or one way. If that one is, I'll go to the next one, and then to the next one, until they end up being non-terraformable. Just because it's the most efficient way, I find, of just working my way through the system. But then again, like I said, there's no guarantee of any of these being terraformable, because they need to be in the... Not only do they need to be in the Goldilocks zone, they need to have the right chemical compositions and atmospheric compositions on the planets. So, yeah, that's great. You know, on to another topic. Well, I've been seeing... Ever since I've been doing the ship kit reviews for all the different ship kits, obviously, I've been having a really mixed bag of well, a mixed bag of feedback, I should say. Some of you guys are really happy that I'm doing these reviews so you can decide whether or not you want to get these kits, which was the whole point of why I was doing these. I told you, Waterworld. But some people are actually thinking that I'm actually being paid by Frontier to do this. And I've got to say, that could not be further from the truth. I've actually bought all of these ship kits myself, bar one. There's only one that I asked Frontier to put on my account for me, and that was the Sidewinder one. And the other reason for that is because I just literally could not justify buying the Sidewinder kit myself. I can't remember if I've said this before, because it's a horrible issue with me, as I do actually keep repeating myself and saying the same things over and over, because I forget whether I've said it. But I don't remember if I've said this in a previous video. No, I've not said it in this video. But a lot of people are... There's one guy who's complaining that, oh, Frontier, Dave Braben's milking the game now before people realise it's dead. Oh, God, dude, you're an idiot. Yes, you know who you are. But it's just... I don't get it, really. They have to have ways of keeping the game going, because it doesn't have a subscription. Would you rather pay a subscription basis to play the game? No, I'd rather not either. I do like the ship kits because I think they're awesome. I like, oh, not all of them, obviously. Like, I'm not a big fan of the Cobra ship kit at all. I like the Viper ship kit. That's really nice. I like the Python one. The Vulture one I really like as well. Anaconda one, I'm okay with the Anaconda one. But yeah, there's some that there's some that I like, there's some that I don't really like. The ASP one I'm not too fussed with. I mean, there are some nice pieces, but I think that's the same with all of them, really. They can either be really nice, or they can have some really nice pieces, or they can have some really crappy pieces. I will agree with some of you, though, that the pieces themselves do often look a little bit plasticky, but I suspect that's going to get fixed in a future update. I think right now they're just getting them out there. And I'm not complaining about this, because I know that this game's a work in development. Somebody was... This made me laugh. Somebody was going on about, oh, this game's terrible because you're stuck in your commander's chair. You can't get up. Oh, you better go and play Star Citizen instead. And I just face-palmed my keyboard so hard. Because I'm sitting here thinking, you do know that at the moment Star Citizen is just a collection of tech demos, right? They've actually said that they're expecting to have the first alpha, I repeat, alpha, out by potentially the end of this year, the end of 2017. So yeah, it's not going to be a game for potentially at least the next few years, and by that time, Elite's going to have the ability to walk around stations and EVA and do all these different things. At least I hope so. I do believe that's what's going to happen, because if it didn't, then the game would be losing more players and so on. But Frontier aren't stupid as much as people would like to think they are. But then again, I do find that a lot of people like to think that they are cleverer than they are, possibly me included. And I can imagine just all the comments exploding now, saying, oh yeah, Chaos, you're not very clever, Chaos, you're a dumbass. So yeah, fair enough, fair point. I mean, I'm hoping that Star Citizen does go and succeed, but at the moment, I really can't see it. I've said previously, it's no secret that I really disagree with their funding methods, selling just ideas of ships, and that they are naming and numbering the game at the moment. Oh yeah, because the current patch is 2.06. That feels like a blatant spin lie kind of thing, because if you come up into a game and you see it's called patch 2.6 point whatever, that would say to you that the game is in its second season and its 6th major update. Currently, Elite Dangerous are on 2.2, I believe it is. Yes, we're in 2.2. 2.3 is they're going to be the Commander Creator and some other stuff which can't quite remember. A multi-crew. That's 2.3, which I'm looking forward to, just because I really cannot wait to go and make Commander Chaos Wolf Ducky and Mal Reynolds. But according to a previous iteration or build of the Commander Creator, they actually managed to make a commander look very similar to Ed Lewis, who is one of the community managers at Frontier. And the resemblance was fairly uncanny. So that was really cool, and I really cannot wait to get my hands on this and to fiddle around, because one of the things I really love doing in any style of game that has character creation is I sit down and I spend a good hour or two making myself in the game. Yes, I know, I'm totally vain, but I've done this in every MMO game that I've played. I did it in Age of Conan, I tried to do it in Guild Wars 1 and 2. I can't remember what other games I did it in. I've done it in XCOM. That was XCOM and XCOM 2, although XCOM 1, you're very limited there, as well as with Guild Wars 1, and to a certain extent with Guild Wars 2. But I really do like character creators that let you just get in there and just fiddle with the character model. And let's not forget, there's not even any female body types in Star Citizen as yet. They basically just got a couple of social modules, and the modules that are in the game currently are just horrendously optimized. Although I've had one of the pack actually go and joke and say that they just went and skipped the entire optimizational step altogether. But this isn't pre-alpha. These are the kind of things we'd expect to see from Star Citizen. And I do want to go and start covering the game. I tried recording a little bit of it the other day, and even though with my new rig I can go and play it at around about 25 to 30 frames a second in the normal outside environment, in the hangars and so on I can get around about 60 or over frames a second. But in the open universe it's absolutely terrible. According to a note from Robert Space Industries, I think it is. I forget the name of the company that actually makes it at the moment. It's Cloud Imperium Games. That was it, sorry. They are saying that the main issue with it at the moment... I'm way too close to go and do this, aren't I? So let's get ourselves away from this star before we go and start scanning. Yeah, there we go, good. Just far enough away. We just managed to make it so we didn't start losing integrity in our modules. We definitely don't want that. Don't have to turn around earlier than I'd like. So yeah, they're basically saying that the reason that the game is lagging like nobody's business is because there's a problem with the coding or the problem on the servers. So something with the source code or something problem with the servers. And apparently having a patch coming out in, I think it's like the next couple of weeks or the next month or so. I can't remember the exact when this is supposed to be happening. I'm not going to go bother scanning that one. What they're going to do, what's going to happen is they're going to work on it and they're going to basically fix it so that it runs better in the open environment, which would be great because it's just horrendous at the moment. I mean, I tried playing a little bit last night, which was funny as all hell, and I had a thing where I was flying my ship, tried to get into the pilot seat, and I managed to clip through the side of the ship, through the hull, and start floating around in space. It's like, oh, okay. Right. So, yeah, that game is not going to be ready anytime soon. Because a lot of people do forget that Frontier are adding a lot of content to Elite over the next few years. They've got a 10-year development cycle, which to me is the smarter way of doing things, because we've constantly been talking about this kind of stuff on the Facebook group, insofar that with Star Citizen it seems like they're very nice, and obviously they're all going to be discovered. I reckon that's going to be a water world, maybe? Yep, that's a water world. I can hear it. Well, I'll be quiet for a minute, and if you've got headphones on, just sit here, turn the volume up a little bit, and you should be able to hear the bubbling of water. Hear it? Yeah, no. Alright, well, I heard it, I can hear it, and I can hear it perfectly fine. Now, it's really nice to have. So that's those two scanned, and I am going to go and scan this one. If it's terraformable, I'll scan the ones either side, because these all look like they may potentially be terraformable, because they've all got atmospheres. And on the way over there, we'll fuel scoop as well, because I don't want to forget before I jump off to the next system. Because if I forget, I'm going to go and end up potentially up shit creek without a proverbial paddle. Well, up the proverbial creek without the proverbial paddle, I should have said. But oh well. But yeah, no. As I was saying, I do think that by the time Star Citizen comes out in either... basically as a finished product, if it ever will, I really hope it does, but it's feeling a little bit iffy, really, because let's not forget all the controversies that happened then, but we're not going to go into that there. But it just feels like it might not happen, but I hope it does, because Frontier does need some competition to kind of give them a swift kick up the butts in some areas. And not only that, but it's like the difference between the competition, the competitive little streak between World of Tanks and War Thunder tanks and so on. Or even World of Tanks, War Thunder and Armoured Warfare. These things are actually kind of pushing each other to go and try new things and do things differently, rather than continue the same way they normally would. And this actually goes and pushes the company and the game to be better. So it's something that I want for Elite as well. I mean, I'm really looking forward to the ability to actually get up and walk around. And in a way, I'm really hoping that they do it in a very similar way to how it is in the Star Citizen pre-alpha, where you actually get up and you can see yourself walking from the back of the ship and getting into your seat, and so on. And not only that, but I'm hoping that some of the ships that they bring into the new Elite are a little bit different as well, but I can't imagine that they're going to be more kind of sci-fi-esque. Waterworld, knew it. So, is it terraformable is the question, though. It is, in fact. So, how far away is that one? It's a little way. What's the closest one? Let's actually just go from the closest to closest to closest, because I think we're going to end up going and just scanning all of these. But yeah, as to the ship designs, I know a lot of people seem, well, some people at least seem to prefer the ship designs in Star Citizen, and to me it's like the difference between high fantasy and low fantasy in a way, like high science fiction and low science fiction. The Star Citizen is a bit more high science fiction, where it's kind of like the equivalent, the sci-fi equivalent of Lord of the Rings, so to speak, with the elves and the dwarves and magic and so on, Ents. Whereas Elite Dangerous seems to be a bit more like low science fiction, so I don't know, it's just where it's a bit more grounded in reality, so to speak. I'll say grounded in reality, but I'm sitting here flying around in a ship with air conditioning vents in the middle of space. I mean, why the hell do we have air conditioning vents in a hauler? I'm pretty sure I know the reason why. It's because they wanted to give it the feel of a space transit van, which they do go and kind of pull off quite well. But yeah, where was I? Yeah, like I said, one being more slightly grounded in reality, the one being a little bit more kind of fantastical science fiction. Well, I can understand the appeal of it as well, because the ship that I've got in Star Citizen is just the basic one. I can't remember what it's called. I can't remember off the top of my head. No, that isn't terraformable, so we'll go and have a look at that one. We'll see if that was terraformable or not. And to me, it looks a little bit like, if I'm remembering this right at least, the ship from Prometheus. So it just looks a little bit like that to me. Whereas all the ships in Elite Dangerous even are all no, not geometric, but they are like perfectly mirrored. They are, what's the word I'm looking for? That was the word I was looking for, symmetrical. All the ships are symmetrical in Elite Dangerous. Not so much, well, some of them are, at least, but not all of them. There are some asymmetrical ships in Star Citizen. And some people have, well, I have seen people asking for future ships in Elite being non-symmetric. But I don't think that's going to happen, because Elite Dangerous has a very specific art style, let's say, because it was made back in the day when it was on the BBC Micro and whatever computer it was back in the days. Because let's not forget, Elite originally came out, the very first Elite originally came out 1 year after I was born. So I was 1 year old when the original Elite came out. Yeah, how old do you feel now? But where everything there was symmetrical, like they're all symmetrical wireframes, and Elite's kind of kept the same aesthetic all the way through all of its iterations to Frontier Elite 2 and so on. I'm pretty sure there was another one after that, I just can't remember what it was called. And to be perfectly honest, I got no issues with the designs of the ships. I mean, obviously there's some that I don't like as much as others. I mean, I've never liked the Cobra. Yes, heresy, I hear many of you saying. But that's mainly because, I don't know what it is. I just always prefer the look of sleeker ships. And the Cobra, as iconic as it is to the Elite universe and the Elite mythos, it's just never been something that I've really liked. I always preferred the look of the Viper. Not only that, but I've always liked the fact that the Viper is a dedicated combat ship, whereas the Cobra is a specific multi-role. I don't know, I've just always preferred the dedicated ships to the multi-roles in a way. Even though I do like the Python, and the Python is my favourite ship in the game. And nope, those are not terraformable, so I seriously doubt this one or this one are going to be terraformable. So let's move on to the next jump. And oh, here we go. This is the last jump to this waypoint. So let's go, get our butts over there and see if there's anything interesting there. I mean, I would completely expect that this next system is going to have been scanned previously, much like this one. Especially since it's an F-class star. At least I think it's an F-class star. The reason I jump into the F-class stars, I try and have all my waypoints around about F-classes. Or OA, like the blue stars or the F-classes. For the simple fact that I'm trying to get more of a chance of finding Earth-likes. Then again, I'm pretty sure I've found terraformable planets around neutron stars, which has been hilarious, to say the least. And let's see. Nope. Just 2 stars. So one is discovered by Garmid, and the one is by Mr. Korn. And this, oh, that's not been discovered. Might as well go and scan it then. Yeah, might as well get Mal Reynolds' name on it. Unless by the time I actually get back to sell the data, somebody else would have probably got it. Because it's probably going to take me a long ass time in order to go and get back to civilized space. I mean, like I said, we could potentially just go over to Jack Station, but I really don't want to go that far yet. I'm going to wait until we can go and get a modified Diamondback Explorer, I think. Because what I'm thinking is trying to get, like I said, getting a Diamondback Explorer, modifying it up with potentially Felicity Farseer, not sure. But just going and just seeing how far, well, how long of a jump range we can get it. Then we'll modify it up and go and either go out to Jack Station or go out to Beagle Point. I mean, I've been to Jack Station already by now. But that was for the Colonia migration expansion thing, where you had to go and take galactic travel guides all the way out there. The one for our second faction, the Lost Wolves. Which we actually came in around about 20th with. Which was not bad, considering that I didn't really make much of a fuss about it. Because the thing is, the only reason that we actually entered into that is because some of you guys wanted to go and do it. Me, personally, I'm not too fussed. I would rather focus on the Wolves of Jonai. Speaking of the Wolves of Jonai, we actually went and lost our first war for a long time. But with that, I'm not really surprised, because the opposing faction actually had a lot more missions for, like, a lot more massacre missions than we had, which I don't understand. But nah, it doesn't help that we're having a lot of some power play factions coming and getting a lot closer to our home system as well. So perfectly, if I remember rightly, I think we may even be exploited by Yuri Grom now. By the EG pilots. But hopefully next time we get a big event like this, maybe we'll be able to get, there we go, we've got that one now. Is there anything interesting with it? Let's go and have a look. Maybe we'll be able to get into a, nope, nothing of great interest. Let's see, are we close enough to scan this one? But maybe if we get the next Rise to Power event, maybe the wolves will finally be able to get in and make their own... be able to get in and make our own power. Now, I don't know if this is something that's really worth doing. Especially considering that power play is kind of a game within a game. It's a very meta-y kind of thing that nobody really... Well, I say nobody, there are some people that really care about it. But there's not as many of them as you would like. I mean, to start off with, it was really popular, and then after that, it kind of just dropped off and dropped off. Now, there are still dedicated groups that want to go and do power play, but our group isn't one of them. Right, okay, there we go. Look at that. That's almost perfect. 999.89 light years to there. So that's awesome. But let's get out of this system and go and see if there's anything else on the other side. But like I said, I'm not really sure whether the Wolves becoming a power play faction is really something that we want. I mean, I'd love it because I'd love to get my face in the game. Yeah, but I'm not really sure. We'll have to go and see. What do you guys think? Let me know down in the comments. But as of right now, I'm kind of torn. It would be nice to be able to go and have our own faction bonuses and so on. I mean, the one that the EG pilots have got, the first player power in the game, they've got one which when you're in, I think it's in exploited or controlled systems, handing in anything that like bounty vouchers, trading stuff, or exploration data, you get, I think maybe even combat bonds as well, you get like a percentage increase on all of them. So it helps towards all of your ranks. And it's like, I think it starts at like 2% or something, so it's not a great amount. Let's have a look. But it increases depending on whether how far the EG, or how close the EG pilots are to the top of the power leaderboard. Going all the way up to like, I think, maybe 10% or something, maybe? I'm not sure. Actually, we can go and check, can't we? How far are we away? More than enough. So let's go and have a look. So we can come here and let's see exactly where they are as well. Currently they're number 9. So let's go and see. We go over to pledge. And it starts off at 2. Oh, and it goes all the way up to 15% if they are number 1. So normal, anywhere else it's number 2, but if they get to number 3, it's 5. Number 2, they get to 7%. On number 1, it is 15%. So, there. So that's kind of interesting. And the other thing I'd really look forward to making as well, because I'd love to have a massive brainstorm about this. I mean, we did it before, but we're not quite sure what we want to do about it. But we got, because they have their own power modules, and they have a dumbfire missile that temporarily disrupts and reboots the target's frameshift drive. So it's kind of a pirate's dream weapon in a way. So yeah, that's kind of cool. I don't know what it's called though, but it just has a dumbfire missile that temporarily disrupts the thing. I don't know if it's actually got a name for it or not, but oh well. But it would be nice to have my face here, that'd be awesome. Yeah, again, I know, I'm terribly vain. But it's something I've always wanted to have happen. But anyway, I think I've virtually exhausted all the things that I can actually think to talk about right now. And I have been recording for a little over 40 minutes, so I think it's probably good that we go and call the video here. So I'm going to go and carry on and scan this particular star. And then I'm going to go and log off of this. I'm going to try and make a little bit more progress towards modding up my new shiny Python again. But anyway guys, I do hope you've enjoyed the video. Like it if you've liked it, dislike it if you didn't. Neither of those good enough for you, that's what the comments are for. I've been Commander Chaos Wolf from Sci-Fi Gaming. You guys, as always, have an epic. I will see you soon. And until next time, my fellow commanders, keep flying and stay shiny.